Hi. So today we're going to be touching on a topic that's dear to all of us. We're talking about mental health, more specifically mental health and how it affects our finances. I am joined by the lovely Miss Jenna Julien, a therapist in Trinidad and Tobago, who is ready to share her insight into how our daily stresses affect and impact our financial well-being, and vice versa. Miss Julien, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Yes, absolutely. So, as you heard, the name Jenna Julien, I am a family therapist and emotional intelligence consultant. And just as it says, I basically help people understand their emotions, right? To build self awareness, to learn how to self regulate, and how to manage their relationships around them. So, it's really, we deal with so many different things from managing anxiety, depression, relational challenges. I also work with adolescents, and families. So helping with that tension, when adolescents get into that stage, things can get like a roller coaster. So I try to, offer that support to families and just helping, to build healthy emotions and help people to be more mindful of their emotional world, their thoughts, their feelings, and also their behaviors so that they can live a fulfilling and peaceable life.
I love that. And we definitely want our membership to be more aware of themselves, especially where mental health is concerned now.
Absolutely.
And we know that it can affect our finances, our financial status, well-being, and so that's definitely what we want to touch on today.
Yes. So first of all, I want to commend you all for creating and for leading the charge in the financial industry for, facilitating this conversation because it is important and is definitely needed.
Nice. So, firstly, what we want to get into is what is mental health? And usually we mix mental health and mental illness together. Is it the same? Is it different? What is it?
Awesome question, and I'm glad that we are, differentiating the difference between the two because, as we know, there is a stigma around mental health because people think that, oh my gosh, if I see a therapist, that means that something is wrong with me, right? But just as how we all have physical health, we all have mental health. So when we talk about mental health, we are just talking about, the day-to-day managing and stewarding of your emotions, of your thoughts, and also your behaviors, right? So how you deal with yourself, what type of relationship you have with your emotions, and also the people around you. Now, mental illness is a clinical condition. Some people are born with it, or if we neglect managing our mental health over a period of time, we can develop mental illnesses, right? Whether it's a chemical imbalance in the brain, whatever the case may be. So looking after your mental health does not necessarily mean that you have a mental illness, and there is a big difference between it. So to sum it up, mental illness is just the daily stewarding of your emotional world and your emotional well-being, and mental illness is a clinical condition. So that entails a diagnosis.
Okay, so just to make sure we're on the same page, mental health is my day-to-day managing of my well-being and everything.
Absolutely.
And my mental illness would be if I have to be clinically diagnosed with something.
Absolutely.
Great. So
Such a good
today we're
student.
sticking on mental health.
Yes.
So Jenna, I love the analogy of the toddler throwing a tantrum in the background, right? We're going to continue with that for the rest of the segment. So what are some things that I can do to support and work through this toddler throwing tantrums? Or what are some things that we do in our daily lives that might damage or cause more problems with the toddler throwing tantrums?
Yeah, great question. So I think the easiest thing to do is to start with curiosity. So if it is you see a child throwing a tantrum, the first thing you will do is ask,
What's wrong?
what's wrong, right? So you give the child the opportunity to tell you if they can't speak, or show you if they can't, what is causing or inflicting pain or discomfort for them, right? It's the same thing with our emotions. You want to stay curious, right? Every emotion has information in it, so our emotions are not negative, they are not our enemy, right? Even though they may, if over time we do not tend to our emotions, it can lead to negative outcomes. Emotions are not good or bad. They just tell a story. So the best thing to do is to check in on yourself, like, how am I feeling today, right? There is this feelings wheel that we use in therapy because behind core emotions like happiness, anger, sadness is a whole world of emotions, right? It's kind of like an onion. So you may say, I feel angry, but behind that anger may be frustration, it may be feeling let down, it may be disappointment, it may be hopelessness, right? It may be rejection. So it's not just that you're angry. So we use that feelings to help person to understand the world behind their emotions. So the best thing you can do is check in on yourself. You know, every morning when I wake up, I ask myself, how am I feeling today?
Okay.
You know, because I need to know how I am feeling in order to supply myself with what I need to feel better. So if I'm feeling sad, maybe today I need to stay off social media, right?
Okay.
Maybe today there are some persons I may have to set certain boundaries with, right? Maybe I need to be around people that I love and people that brings me joy. So just stay curious about your emotions.
Okay, I like that. Be in touch with our emotions. Check on the
Yes.
toddler. What's
Yeah.
wrong today? What's going on? I get it. I get it. So when I wake up in the morning, what are some signs that I'm looking for that day to say, you know what, today I'm in a good mental state. I have good mental health today. What are some things that I'm looking for to show me that?
Yeah, well, I think peace is one of them, right? So when it is you can wake up feeling grounded, feeling stable, clear in thoughts, right? That's a sign that you have good mental health. So you want to look for that. If you wake up in the morning and you're instantly fatigued and you're feeling irritated and you're like, oh, I don't want to go through this day, then that's a sign that I need to probably check in on what's going on and give myself or find a way to soothe myself so that I feel better. You know, so you just kind of like want to check in. Also, you want to look for lack of motivation.
Okay.
You know, if you wake up and you're just not feeling motivated about the things that you usually are motivated about,
Right.
that's also a sign that, you know, maybe I just need to check in on my
check in.
mental health today.
Okay, no problem. So you did a little more just now. You told me what to look for good ones and what may be the
Yes.
bad signs, the early warning signs that I'm having a bad mental health moment. It may not be for long. It might just be a moment.
Yeah.
So what are some things I can do during my day? I may wake up and feel perfectly fine. My mental health is good at that time. But during the day, I get a bad drive. My boss on my case. I just don't feel like at that moment I'm in a good mental health space. What are some things I can do during the day or in a moment to help me with my mental health?
This may sound very simple, but it's underrated. It's an underrated skill, but just breathe.
Just breathe.
Right? And I'm not even talking about the typical, normal, shallow breath. I'm talking about deep breathing.
Okay.
And that helps regulate your nervous system, right? So, again, you mentioned like something happened and it triggered you.
Correct.
So there are stress hormones releasing in your body, and it is telling the brain, oh my gosh, you're in danger, you need to do something to protect yourself. When we take a moment to breathe, we send a message to our brain that saying that, hey, I'm probably under pressure, but I'm not in danger.
Right.
Right? So I don't need to do anything, I don't need to fight or flight.
Correct. It's okay. It's not that serious.
Exactly. Right? So if we take that moment to just breathe and pause, then we are able to just become really in tune with ourselves and decide what do I need in this moment and how do I want to respond to what is going on around me rather than react. So honestly, breathing is so important and it helps a great deal.
Okay. I like that. Can you teach me one quick breathing exercise?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is called box breathing. So I'm gonna put down, right? So you can put your hand on your stomach and one on your chest, right?
One on my chest.
Now, when it is you're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. When you take that deep breath in through your nose, you want to make sure your stomach expands and your chest and your shoulders should go up.
Okay.
Right? You should feel a tension in your throat. I should tell you that you are breathing really deeply. So the goal is to try to touch your nervous system because we can't see our nervous system, right?
Okay.
So the goal is to touch it. So you want to breathe really, really deep, right? You're breathing in for 4, you're holding for 4 seconds, and then you're releasing for 4 seconds. So it's like in for 4, hold for 4, release for 4, hold for 4, and then you repeat. That's why we call it box breathing.
Okay.
All right. So 2, 3, in. Hold for 4, 3, 4, release. And then you hold for 4, and we'll do it again. Breathe in. Hold for 4. And then release. And then if it is you just keep doing that for at least 5 minutes straight, it really just makes you feel so calm and so grounded.
I love that. Box breathing exercise.
Yes.
Thank you.